What's up everybody, Jacob Blank back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how I got my very first wholesale deal at 17 years old. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video so you can see what steps it takes in order to get your first real estate wholesale deal. Also make sure to go down below, hit the red button and subscribe to the channel. It helps me reach more people and impact more lives, so go subscribe. Other than that, let's get right into the video. So first off, it took me 8 long months to get my very first deal. Now I don't want you to think that it's going to take you that long to get your first deal. It seems easier than ever to get into this business right now. So you should be able to get your first deal in 4 months or less. But if it takes longer, don't beat yourself up, just keep pushing forward. Your first deal could change your life forever, just like it changed mine. So stick to it, stay true to the process, and it will change your life once you get that first deal. But remember, you must be committed and you must take massive action if you want to get this deal. So if you're not willing to be fully committed to this business, and if you're not willing to sacrifice and take massive action, then do not start chasing after your first deal. You must be committed and be willing to take massive action first. Now on to the story of how I got my first deal. The first thing I did was I printed out 1,000 flyers saying, "We buy houses for cash. As is condition, we pay all closing costs, call me." And then I exported out a list of all the pre-foreclosures and lates in my area from the MLS. This was a list of all the houses in my area where the homeowners were late on their payments. And then I would literally drive around town with my friends passing out these flyers. I'd put them in mailboxes, I'd knock on the door and try to give it to them, I'd tape them to their doors. And I did this for about 3 weeks, driving around town for hours on hours with my friends passing out these flyers. Unfortunately, I got the door slammed in my face many times, told no, told to get off my property, so on and so forth. I didn't even receive one single phone call from these flyers. No homeowner called me back wanting a cash offer for their property. The flyers were a complete failure. Yeah, that's right. I had no success with the flyers, but I still had no intention in my mind of giving up on this business. I still was fully committed and willing to go after my first deal with whatever it took. So then I moved on to my next marketing strategy, which was cold calling. And cold calling has become my favorite marketing strategy out of anything. And so then I pulled a big list of high equity records in my market from Cole Realty Resource. There's a link down below in the description for this. It's unlimited data and it comes with phone numbers. So whether you're just getting started or you're in the business, Cole Realty Resource is a great place to get data and save money on data because it's unlimited and it's high quality. So go check out that link below. But yeah, I pulled a big list of high equity records. So after I had that big list, I needed a dialer. I decided to go with Zen Call Dialer. It's a great platform where you're able to make thousands of calls instead of hand dialing the homeowners. That's why a dialer is so important, so you can maximize your time and reach a lot more people. If you need Zen Call Dialer, there's a link down below in the description for that as well. And now once I had that list and the dialer, I uploaded the list into the dialer and I started calling that list for hours every single day. I called that list for 2 months straight, persevering through all the no's, searching for a yes. I was cursed at, I was yelled at, I was told to put them on the DNC, I was told to remove their number over and over and over again, getting shot down, no after no. I got very close to getting a few deals, but it wasn't enough, no contracts locked up. So then I decided to save up my money and get 2 cold callers. That way I could maximize my time by having people call for me instead of calling myself. I got these cold callers at thecallgenius.com. There's a link down below for these cold callers as well. So now instead of making the cold calls, I mainly focused on following up with warm and hot leads that the cold callers provided me. And I kept battling with being only 17 years old, trying to talk to these homeowners and sound professional so they would take me serious. And I kept trying to do whatever I could to close a deal. I tried my best to master my sales skills, and I made sure I gave everyone I spoke to an offer because I knew the more calls I make, the more offers I give will create more deals. After no, hearing my offers so low, getting the phone hung up on my face, I finally found some of the sellers that were reasonable and would take a fair price for their property. And I was able to set appointments to go out to their house with these handful of reasonable sellers. I went to over 15 appointments, driving all over town. I presented them my offer, I gave them the contract, but still no one would sign. And now I'm wasting my time driving all over town and still no one would sign. I felt so close to getting a deal, but still nothing would happen and I felt so down. At these parts of my journey, I felt broken and I really did feel like giving up, but I persevered and I pushed on. And you need to make sure you do the same. When you feel down like this and you feel like it's impossible, just keep moving forward. I kept at it, and finally I went to an appointment in Gilbert and the seller actually signed the agreement. I had my first contract signed. To have the seller sign felt amazing, but then the worst possible thing happened. Once I walked a buyer through the property, he noticed that there was major foundation issues that I didn't see. And when I brought up the foundation issues to the seller, they actually told me the truth, that there was major issues and that they got a bid for the repair from a repair company and it was going to cost $17,000 to fix the foundation. This insane unknown repair cost completely ruined the deal. The numbers no longer made sense. So I canceled the contract with the seller and my first signed contract was a complete failure. This was the point in my journey where I felt the lowest. I felt like there was no point in continuing forward. I felt like at 17 years old there is no way I could do this business. I was telling myself, I'm too young. This is never gonna work out. I should just give up. But I didn't give up. I got back to the phones, I picked up the phone and I just kept calling homeowners trying to make something happen. And I finally found another highly motivated seller that was considering a fair price for his property and I was so excited. He wanted somewhere around $430 to $440 and I offered him right around $410,000 for the property. He said we were very close to what he'd consider, but he would not take $410,000 for it. So I was like, well, let's set an appointment. Maybe when we come out to the property and we see that it's in better shape, maybe our offer can go up somewhat. So I set the appointment with him. I went to the appointment. The house was super outdated. It needed everything. New kitchen, new flooring, new paint, new bathrooms, you name it. The property needed everything. The property needed over $80,000 in remodel cost. But overall, it still looked like a deal at the seller's asking price of $430,000. So I agreed to give the seller his asking price, the $430,000, and boom, I got the contract signed. And I felt amazing again. I finally got another signed contract, and this was my opportunity to actually get the deal closed this time. ARV, the after repair value for this property, was somewhere between $560,000 to $620,000, but the comp across the street was the $620,000 one. So I was like, wow, that $620,000 comparable is so close to our property. I think we could really shoot for that. So I sent the deal out to cash buyers on Facebook and email blast for $470,000. I walked a buyer through the property and he told me he would pay me $460,000 for the property. And I was like, you know what, I'll take it. That's a $30,000 assignment fee. And boom, I took it, I got the assignment contract signed, and the transaction process from there on went smoothly. And once the deal closed, I wound up making a $30,000 assignment fee. My very first deal at 17 years old was for $30,000. It was such a blessing. I know there's a lot of people out there that their first deal was only for a few $1,000s. So I was super excited I was able to score a big one on my very first deal. But yeah, that is how I got my very first deal. It was a very long journey and I grew tremendously as a person along the process. I wanted to give up so many times throughout that long journey and I felt broken so many times and just didn't want to continue so many times, but I pushed forward and I'm so thankful I kept going because it has completely changed my life. Now I'm on the path to being able to build a multi-million-dollar company, which is so exciting, and I've been able to become well known in the business, so I'm able to do videos like this to teach other people how to get into the business. That way I can impact more lives, and that's what is so amazing. And now finally a message to you guys. You must outright be committed to this business. You must be willing to take massive action, and you must be willing to sacrifice a lot of things in your life in order to get your first deal. Tons of people try to get into this business and they never make it happen because they don't follow through. I want you to follow through. I want you to take the necessary steps in order to get your first deal. And when you feel down along the journey, just remember that if a 17-year-old was able to get a $30,000 deal, then so can you. I wasn't even an adult. I was 17 years old and I was able to get my first deal. There shouldn't be anything to stop you from doing the same. Other than that, I hope this video was insightful on what it takes to get your first deal and what it was like my journey to my first deal. I hope you liked the video. Other than that, comment down below if you have any questions. Make sure you go down below, hit the red button, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Other than that, I appreciate it, guys. Peace.